Hello and welcome back to the High Performance Nursing Podcast. So excited to have you here. Today we've got a returning guest, the fabulous Jacqui O'Connor from New Zealand. How are you going?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm very good. I always love our chats. I'm so excited for what's about to occur and for what people are about to hear in their beautiful little earlobes, in ear holes, not their earlobes, their ear holes. I'm so excited. But before we dive in, let's introduce Jacqui and all of the amazing work that she does. So Jacqui is the founder, the health visionary behind Heart Place Hospital, which includes Empowered Period New Zealand with 5 women delivering a program, Sacred Sexuality and Pause for Menopause, and Priestess School, which is formerly Beautiful Young Women. Oh, that's a mouthful. I love that. And so much more. After Jacqui was lost and alone on her own island, searching for the mothership to her whole health journey, Jacqui founded Heart Place Hospital. Jacqui's days now used to be as a nurse, and now she works in the coaching world, full of supporting frontline workers who are either depleted or can't see their way forwards, all the way to helping them guide through the fog to create change from the chaos. Jacqui also does amazing work with kids and their parents, working with kids who experience anxiety, our future visionaries. I love that, helping empower them for the future. Jacqui, there is so much that you've done. And I feel like I'm probably going to butcher it, and I should let you tell us what you've done. Tell us in your own words, what's got you to this point in your amazing nursing career.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm a lot, Liam, and I've embraced that, and I love that part about me. I'm also very much embracing my connection to nature and how much it changes, and I do too. So I'm constantly morphing, and yeah, in another transition now, really. So, which is really exciting, and that's kind of how I roll now. So how I got here was I was on the hamster wheel. I think you're on the hamster wheel next to me, weren't you, at the same time? And I wasn't doing things differently. I was doing things the same. And as a result of that, as a result of all the patches on my patchwork quilt that makes up me, I experienced a colossal burnout or my Mack truck moment, which we talked about in our last podcast. But for those who are catching up on our connection, that was nearly 7 years ago now. So I'm a different version of me. And so during that period, I really was stopped in my tracks, and what I say, my smoke alarm, my smoke detector was going off, and I could no longer take the batteries out or no longer turn the music up and avoid it. I had to actually take stock, and it was a real do or die moment. And I'm really grateful that I chose the do. And literally, I really was stopped in my tracks, and my whispers returned. And long story short, those whispers connected me to my breadcrumbs, and my breadcrumbs now connect me to my gold nuggets. And so I'm very much now soul-led. That's not how society raised me, although I do recall having it as a young person, but I believe our institution of education and then stepping into healthcare knocked that out of me, and so now I say I dare to care differently, I dare to live differently, I dare to receive care differently, and I take the boo out of taboo and put more to da and less taboo in the world, and I love it, and I'm just so grateful and privileged to be alive at this time and witness the great change that is occurring through the chaos that is occurring worldwide. That's kind of that's how it kind of begun.
Yeah.
And now it's just unfolding, almost like, I was going to say day by day, but moment by moment. And I literally just, it doesn't mean that I don't still get little mini Mac trucks, but I just know how to turn, I hope I can say this, I turn the shit into manure.
I love that.
Yeah. And I just see them, I just now let that smoke detector, it just needs to make a blip, and I sit up and listen. And like I said, really soul-led, so really have remembered, so unlearned a lot of the conditioning of, that same hamster wheel, churn out the same thing. And remembered, I wholeheartedly believe that our traumas are in our DNA, but so are our goddesses and all that wisdom is in our DNA too. So definitely remembering that, and creating safe haven and spaces so that I can allow that to expand and morph out into the world, because our world sure as hell needs it.
For sure. I love that. I love that you touch on, Bo. It's touch on it. It's the premise of what you talk about and how you've got here. But that burnout story and experience is such an integral part of every nurse, every midwife's story that I speak to, who then goes on to do something that is, bigger and beyond what they were initially doing or thought they could achieve and what was possible. And it's so interesting, right? Because I think that we've all been kind of conditioned to believe that burnout is this bad thing. And don't get us wrong, like none of us enjoyed the experience. However, it has birthed like this beautiful thing that you have now created. It's given you this avenue to explore. And like myself with high performance nursing, I think that a lot of us, maybe I certainly did, was trying to avoid the burnout when now I can see that it's completely inevitable. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of if, and well, it's a matter of when, not if, that it will happen. And I think that you touched on something really important there, which is even once you've had the big burnout moment, and then you move beyond that and you learn how to lead yourself better, you learn how to step into your true power, you're still going to have many episodes of burnout. It's still going to be part of the journey. And I think that we believe, there's a part of us that's like, but once we've done it once, it's not coming back. And we then kind of beat ourselves up, right? Is that something that you see in the people that you work with that kind of go on to experience multiple episodes?
Well, I saw it myself. So 7 years ago with my Mac truck, and then definitely got more. And previous to that, I had my 4x4s in the back of my head and the taps in the shoulders. And then they continued over the last 7 years too. And it wasn't until and I was trying everything. I was doing non-government organizations, I was doing charity work, I was doing community work, I was doing part-time, but I was grappling at kind of how can I make this work, and little did I know at the time I was actually creating this movement. I just thought I was a community service. And so then it wasn't until June last year, 2021, that I actually stepped away from the duality, having one foot in the system and one foot on the out, thinking that I could make a difference on the inside and on the outside. And this is my belief, it might not be everybody's belief, but I now believe that going back into the system is a trauma response, and that the only way that we can truly create great change from this chaos is by disabling that system. And I really believe we're going to be seeing a hospicing of that system and a midwiferying of a new system. And I've been evangelical, I've been an activist, I've been to the government, and it was to no response. So now I'm being the example. And I just wholeheartedly believe that the work that I'm doing and the work that I'm seeing many other hope merchants and love rock stars doing is the panacea to our future of having a healing healthcare and education system.
Yeah, I love that concept of hospicing the death of the old health system and midwifery. I can't say that, but midwifery,
Yeah,
the new health system and the
yeah,
new healing system. And
yeah,
talk to us a little bit more about that, because I'm
yeah,
with you on that journey and that experience there. Talk to us more about
yeah,
what you think
yeah.
some of the
So
challenges
that's,
are for carers and nurses and
yeah.
that.
So we of course we're going to need a health system, of course, like we're going to have chronic conditions, and we're going to have accidents, and we absolutely need a health system. What I'm seeing is that we're having, because we haven't been empowered, and we haven't created space to remember that we have this own whole health expert within ourselves, that we're overloading our system with worried well, and with the manifestation of mental and physical health from us not living our fully whole healthed life. So what I mean by that is, in health, we talk about Maslow hierarchy of needs, and in whole health, you flip that upside down, and we actually look at the base of that being our inner knowing, our own wisdom. And a lot of us have had that knocked out of us through our institution of education, because we are conditioned to be right or wrong, good or bad, broken or fixed. And so I think there's just, and I'm seeing it, we've seen it with, with more homeschooling and nature schooling, and then other schools, even our public schools taking on, play-led learning, and this is great. It is happening. So, we kind of need to see it to kind of keep up the energy for it to manifest. Where was I? Lost my thought. So healthcare, education, come on, Jacqui, menopausal moment. Yes, so yeah, that's kind of like how I believe we can pull off our healthcare system a little bit. Also, and I am so so wholeheartedly into this, is caring for our carers and healing our healers. So hand on heart, I was an unhealed healer for 21 years of my bedside nursing. A lot of us go into healthcare education because we've had a defining moment. So mine was open heart surgery as an 8-year-old. It was the nurses that were, my angels. So I just beelined for nursing, and albeit I was physically healed, my spiritual and emotional healing didn't take place. So there's real opportunity for us, and that's why I talk about our future healers, our future carers, real opportunity for us to create opportunity for healing, and for us to embrace, that there are no bad parts.
Yeah.
There's no bad parts. They're all a patchwork on the patchwork quilt. That's us. And I could sit here and talk to you about my people pleasing and my perfectionism, but they helped me survive. They got me through some rough rides. So I'm grateful for them. And I'm grateful for my Mac truck, and because there's no bad parts. They're parts that support us and redirect us. So I think there's a real opportunity in kind of healing our healers before they become healers, and then just a real massive opportunity to support our healers. And that is Heart Place Hospital. So I have Heart Place Physical Hospital, so frontliners, and when I say frontliners, I'm talking health, education, retail, law and order, parenting, so pretty much humans.
Every human.
But predominantly those who are then going back in front of our most vulnerable citizens. So those who are in front of our children, our sick, or our elderly. because I totally believe if they're at their best, if they're careful, FULL, then that energy will go out and heal those recipients of their care. So not only do they benefit, but so do the recipients of their care. And it just seems like an absolute no-brainer to me. And, you know, we're all going to experience frontliners at one time or another. You know, we all have to go to a shop. We all have to... and wouldn't we all rather have someone in front of us who's got great energy? So, so that's a way. And then, so I talk about feminizing our health and education system. So I have felt that and when I say feminize, I don't mean woman, I mean men and women. I have felt that most of my life, my intuition, my emotion, and my energy has been seen as a liability, whereas I now believe it to be, you know, a real gift. The way our society is set up, you know, the Monday to Friday, the 40 hours, the go.
Hustle.
Yeah. We don't get a chance to tap into that inner knowing, which is the base of our whole health. And then on top of that, and on top of that base is our environment. So I talk about safe havens. You know, when you're in a space that is, you know, good energy and clear and clean and vibrating high, then that's what you're going to be like. And that's, again, like when we go into the concrete jungle of the hospital, they're not safe havens. They're unpleasant. You know, they don't smell great. They're, you know, don't have great natural light, all these things that, you know, as natural beings we thrive off. So Heart Place Hospital has all that and more. But our relationships, you know, we've often, a lot of us are conditioned to, you know, stick in the same relationships. You know, it's, you sign the piece of paper, stick at it. But, you know, there's seasons and reasons, and we evolve, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, changing your people. You know, if you're vibrating at a different level, then find those people. And, you know, there's so much evidence that our vibe is, you know, is the equivalent of the 5 people that we spend most of our time with. So spend your time with high vibing people. Like,
I love that. Yeah. I think that I deeply resonate with that. And I put a post out recently about that. I think I maybe even did it this morning, or it's coming. And it was all about that. It was like, if you're surrounded by people in the workplace and you are somebody that is operating on a higher frequency, or you've done some kind of I want to make it super clear that I don't think either of us are saying that people that have done the work, quote unquote, are at a higher level or a more evolved version of human. It's just that we've just had that moment, right? And we've made a choice, and we've either just decided to stay where we are, or we've taken the leap and trusted that, like tapped into that inner knowing. So it's not about, I always talk about this in coaching, it's not about being like elitist or us being better than anybody in the work that we do. It's more so that we've given ourselves and created an opportunity for ourselves to see how friggin' fabulous and amazing we are at our core. But that whole idea of the people that surround you, you become, you know, who they are. And I think that that's what stops a lot of people in the career space moving forward, because they go in on a higher frequency and very quickly it's removed. We're conditioned. You're very quickly told that you can't be doing this. You've got to wait your 5 years and yada, yada, yada. And then you come to their frequency. It's a coping mechanism. And we're also pack animals, right? Like, we love to conform. And what I love about the work that you do and the work that I do is that we push the norm and we challenge the boundary. And that's a whole different thing for us, for sure. Like, that's a whole different kettle of fish. But it's rewarding when we start seeing those people step into their true wisdom and their true power. And reclaim all of it, because the thing is, right, like, no, it's never gone, it's never been taken away, it's never not there. It's just that we're just not creating the space to see it.
And I mean, we're set into this world in whichever family and whichever environment, for us to, to grow and learn. So I say there's no win, lose or draw. It's win, learn or draw. There's no good or bad. There's celebration and growth. And like when I was bedside nursing, absolutely hand on heart, I was in the victim martyr mentality, woe betide me, poor me, working night shifts, being paid pittance, getting chocolate on, one chocolate on Nurses Day, like all this. But I allowed it.
Yeah.
I allowed it, and I went back for more. And I and a lot of us we're boundary wounded. We haven't been raised in understanding boundaries and how to advocate for ourselves. And again, it's back to that institution of education. We were, and I still see it now. I've got teenage daughters. That the teacher, listen to the teacher and all the stuff. And I'm just like, oh, actually, these are our future carers. They're our future. They're our change makers, our chain breakers. Let's celebrate them. Let's give them space to be creative. And why are we still trying to educate kids at 8:30 in the morning when we've got science to show that they're nocturnal and they don't start learning until later? I like you said, I really challenge what we're still, the norms that we're still doing, and evidence to that. I've got 7 arms of funding that I have, and I actually don't tick the box for any single one of those arms of funding. I just used my superpowers of being a great connector and co-creator and conduit, and I was just persistent with showing up and from heart, and they could see that what I offered was needed, and so I colour outside the lines, and that's Heart Place Hospital, same thing, coloured outside the lines. Be the example, create the example. I rocked up to government, and and now I'm like, now I'm going to be able, and my vision is that they see it, sooner rather than later, and they go, hey, hang on a minute, we need to copy this, and we'll see more of them, more Heart Place hospitals around New Zealand and the world.
What I love about your work is that you, regardless whether that I fully believe in you, right? But part of this journey is just the level of self-confidence that you need to have in order to pull something like this off is next level, right? Because there's nothing like it. There's nothing out there like it. And most of us would look for evidence to support it and to suggest that it's possible. And what I love about what you do is that you're like, hold on, this has never been done before.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I have worked on my nervous system, and I have tested it, and I've seen the magic and miracles that I can create, and I feel exactly the same inside with this belief that I have with the other magic and miracles that I've pulled off. So I so undoubtedly believe it's going to happen, and you can say you've interviewed me. Yes. There you go.
Totally. Yeah. And I think it's interesting. I'm curious because a lot of people that listen to the podcast have big dreams and goals of their own in their career, in their life. What do you think it is that makes that belief unshakable for you? What do you think it is that you've practiced doing to make this it's a no-brainer? Of course it's happening.
I looked for evidence. Yeah. So look, little things and I call them my whispers. One day my whispers said to me, oh, your package is going to arrive today. And I thought, well, that's ridiculous because I only ordered it yesterday. And then the package arrived. And then my whispers have said, take your umbrella. And I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. It's sunny. So I've taken it and it's rained. So I've and we took radical action and left the city and moved to a Bohemian beachside village. And that was totally soul-led. and it was, my whispers said, leave Auckland, leave Auckland. I was like, don't be ridiculous. I've got teenage daughters. What are you talking about? And anyway, then I just got brave and spoke it out loud. And with literally, we sold the house, bought a house, and it's Jacquiville. Like, I live in Jacquiville. And this is not a village we'd spent any time in. We bought it during lockdown, you know, and it was so easy. And so I feel the same way. So I feel exactly the same sureness. So it does. And I did have a magic and miracle book for a long time, you know, like the evidence, and I've stopped now because my trust and faith is so high that that I just know. But it takes practice. Just practice makes progress, but it also really does you need a magical healing round table around you. You know, so I've got people around me that can go, I can say, oh my God, I had this dream last night, blah blah blah, and you know, and they can witness me, so they don't try and fix me or help me, and vice versa, do back to them. You know, and we're just really open. Has anyone got space? I've just got something, you know, that's on repeat. I'd love someone to witness it. And so hanging with your kind is super important. But being really, like, having boundaries in that, you know, like saying, who has the space? I've just got something, you know, because you don't want to be offloading all the time others, and you want someone to witness you who's got the energy as well. So so I mean, I've done that in paid form. I've had magical mentors, but I've also got, you know, people who are like me, daring to care differently, daring to live differently. That and celebrations, you know, like even today I pulled an oracle card and I was like, oh my God, I've got to share that with the crew. And they're all like, oh yeah, that's bang on for you today. Like, yeah, right.
The universe is always working in our favor, hey? It's always,
always. And you know, once you get the memo that that life is happening for you, not to you, you know, like, and it's unfortunate we've been conditioned on that good, bad, right, wrong, because you know, we're really quick to try and fix and help people, whereas in actual fact, these are amazing barometers, you know, our smoke detector just redirecting us. And as soon as we learn that it's happening for us, not to us, and that we can all turn the shit into manure. You know, we can lift the vibration of this world. And that I call myself a hope merchant and a love rock star. And you know, we're in big trouble. We're in really big trouble on this planet. And she is asking us, our planet is asking us to heal, and to really tap into the we and ditch the me, that we've been so conditioned to do. You know, and that looked like, you know, putting your mask on to look, you know, everything's good and fine. And it's something I want to say to that is, like, we hear a lot about it's okay to not be okay, but I would love to, and I'm going to do a post on this myself actually. Let's be okay with being great. You know, like, let's examples of being great.
Totally.
And that's what I really I'm the example, not the opinion, and I've been the opinion, so I have no judgment. But what I'm really witnessing now, and I really invite people to sit with this, is I'm really witnessing a lot of people in the martyr victim mentality. And honestly, there are so many phenomenal people, you included, Liam, out there ready and waiting to support. And we have had the lived experience. So we're going to hold space really freaking well. So, you know, reach out, and so many of us, there's no financial massive financial outlay, because we know that there hasn't been a lot of value and respect, and this is a great way to give back. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh, it's all right for them, trust us. We've rocked in the corner, you know, and we've come from, you know, rocking in the corner to now thriving. Some hot mess, hot healed success.
I love that. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So and the martyr victim mentality is a very low vibration. And again, no judgment. I've been there. And you know, the hot healed success is a high vibration, and when you're vibrating at a high level, you know, the abundance comes, and my definition of abundance is having the freedom to do the things you love. And you know, I now know, you know, I was 40 plus years young when I learned how to advocate for myself, how to create healthy boundaries and craft a life that best suit me. And a life that best suits me is to have the freedom, if I need to rest or if I need to express an emotion, that I can. And we just don't offer that within our healthcare system. And, you know, as a cyclical woman, we don't show up the same every day. We absolutely don't. And we need to be honoured for the different energies and emotions, and most importantly, we have this freaking superpower of intuition, and we're incredibly creative, solution focused, not just creating life. We have this amazing ability to create and create solutions, and that's in our DNA. That is in our DNA, but our society as it stands now doesn't honour and support that. We're growing. There's an army. We're coming.
on our way to support that, for sure. And I think that, you know, there's so much I could say about the victim martyr mindset and that low vibration. And God, it's hell on earth down there. It really is. Like, it is hell. And it can seem so difficult to get out of that place. And we all still go, like, we still have moments down there. I certainly still have moments down there. I have to raise myself back up. But that's what I love about coaching and holding space for people, is that we can see through that. Like, our job is not to buy into your story or the narrative that your brain is throwing up at you. It's our job to really create that psychological safety, so you can just explore everything in a kind, respectful, non-judgmental place. And what I'm noticing through coaching, you know, hundreds of clinicians now, is that often what it is it's really that we're just not comfortable sitting with the emotion. You know, we have all of these thoughts, but the biggest thing that we're just trying to avoid, and we buffer through, for me, it was over drinking, overeating, you know, over shopping. Like, my days off, I'd be out in the town thinking I need X, Y, and Z. And my days were so busy and I was filling all my time, and I couldn't sit still. And we're avoiding, we're using all of these things external to us, hoping that they'll make us feel better. And that's what I really love about the work that you do, is it's all about coming back to reclaiming your personal wisdom, that whole health approach, where you can look at the physical, the spiritual, the psychological, the mental, you know, all of those things, your environment, so that you can become the best version of yourself. That is the epitome of high performance nursing. You know, it's not about being an elite, you know, CEO or a leader that makes massive industry change. It's about being the highest version of yourself for you and for you only. Because as nurses, like, we are so, we, like, collectively, and I should never say we. Every time I say we, I think of Brene Brown, when she's like, you should never say collective we. You know, Brene hates the whole we thing. But we are people pleasers. Collectively, we are highly sensitive people. We are empaths. And it is so important, as much as we take on everybody else's emotions and feelings, that we allow ourselves to sit with and process our own, and recognize and realize that they are just vibrations in our body that we do need to pay attention to, that we can process and feel. Because I would argue that as a nurse or a healer at any stage, and we've got some carers that listen to this podcast, doesn't matter where you work, that the ability to feel your feelings is your superpower. It is what will unlock everything that you need access to in your life. When you realize that you can walk into an interview and you can feel all of the fear, but you can still show up and be absolutely friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
And then have your own back at the end of it. That's winning at life. Forget 150 grand a year. Forget, all of the things that we think are going to make us happy. That's what will actually positively impact the humans that we have in our healthcare system. So I love that our work aligns in that space, and that's something that you advocate for strongly.
Yeah. And like I said, abundance is freedom to do the things that you love.
Yeah.
And when I was on the hamster wheel, it was loved were over there, and I was, just churning, just spinning around in a circle. So
It's interesting because I would probably argue that I have probably never had as little certainty in my life and in my business and do you know what I mean? In terms of like, when you walk in the hamster wheel, you know when the paycheck's coming, you know what's happening. There's so much that's certain. And despite all of that, and despite the uncertainty now, and I hear this across the board with nursepreneurs, is that I am like the happiest I've ever been, and the most fulfilled, because I invite in all of the abundance. I've got to connect with beautiful people like yourself, and all of that is because I've just followed my intuition, and I just knew there was a part of me, like you said at the start, there was a part of me that was like, you know what, Liam, there's something better for you. There's something bigger. There's something that you're being called to do. Those whispers were certainly there. And I just wish, my wish for all of the nurses and midwives and healers is that they listen to that whisper and they just follow it, like you said, like the breadcrumb. I love that analogy. They just follow it and just take a little nibble and move forward and just see what is possible for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my vision is that those who go onto those frontline roles have an opportunity to really heal the reason that they've got into them. So, I think about me, if I'd had that spiritual, emotional healing as I was training to be a nurse, for the reason that I was being in there, then that would have been really supportive. Then I would really love to see our frontliners having on a regular energy support. So, like you talked about us being empaths and we're taking on other people's energy. So the actual have access or the learning of how to release energy that is not theirs. And then I would love to see them be able to really have a space within the workplace that they can actually go and release an emotion or download an event or like express rest. So we've got to normalize that rest is a right and not a reward. It's our body saying stop. But I didn't have that modeled, I didn't have that modeled with my colleagues, with my leader, my management. I didn't have that modeled. And so now, I really model. I've got 2 teenage daughters, and you'll often find me having a little witch kip if I need it. I welcome them to do the same. Teenagers are pretty good at that.
I love that. Yeah. No, I think that it's kind of just insanity, isn't it, that we expect clinicians, healers to go into this system where, at 7:01, 6:59 as you're putting your bag on the hook, there's a cardiac arrest, and you're wham bam into it, and there's something that you've got to deal with this for the next 4 hours, and it's this prolonged state of stress, fight or flight response. I mean, I even feel it when I'm just talking about it, and then after that, it's like it's done, and you just move on to the next thing. I mean, it is like, on reflection, I think it is just the worst thing for our nervous system, the stress. One of the things that really hits me, and this is morbid, but one of the things that I had never had to do before until I moved to Australia was take patients down to the mortuary. I'd never in my life had to do that. In the UK, it's not a nurse that does that. And I think for good reason, but it was a very respectful and beautiful thing that I got to do. But what a bizarre experience to do that and to process that, and then have to come back up to the floor and get like right into a team meeting where I've got to boost the culture. Like, right, like it's just so weird. I'm gonna go to get a coffee and have some lunch.
Well, that's where you know, sacred wisdom comes in. And I heard this beautiful story this week. It was in New Zealand, and a woman went in for cardiac surgery, and she was Māori, and she actually requested that they did waiata and karakia before she was anaesthetised, and the family came in too. And the story actually was narrated by the surgeon, who's not a New Zealander, and you know, he spoke to the fact that you know, they'd delivered that she had a 20% chance of survival. And I just thought, wow, what a, you know, like, she survived, good news story. But you know, if that hadn't been the way that it ended up, you know, like, what a beautiful way to have exited this world. Yeah. And also what a beautiful way to kind of calmly be, you know, to give away your body autonomy. And so, you know, and he shared that on his LinkedIn to thousands and thousands of people. So we're starting to see, you know, we start like, and this is what I say to my clients and everyone, you know, if we all step up and show up and speak up from heart, from a place of love, you know, we can create change from this chaos. And that's just a beautiful, you know, that's one of many, like I like on the daily, people connect with me, and they're sharing with me how they're daring to care differently. And it's really cool. It's really exciting. I've got my biggest bowl of popcorn. I've got the front row seat. I feel such a privilege to be alive. I know I'm going to have grandchildren one day and they're going to be like, Grandma, what was it like? So I'm trying to digest it all, and I've been doing videos and stuff to keep and share. And this is a monumental historical time in our life. Really, truly is, yeah.
I love that. I often do think about that, actually, about how many of us should be documenting more of the stuff that we're doing. I was even thinking about that today as I was trying to reach out to unis and things like that to try and get into the unis so that I can show them at this early stage what is possible for them in the nursing career, and that missing semester analogy, right? Around at least just knowing that your thoughts are not factual. Like, if they take anything away, that your thoughts are not factual and that you get to decide what you believe is true about yourself. And I just thought to myself, wow, how interesting, hey, if this was recorded and we could see like all the unis that are going to say no to a free masterclass, you know, because it will happen. There's unis that will say yes. And it's just like, what an interesting time and space. And I would love to see more nursepreneurs like really collect their experiences and share it. I think that there's no one in the space that's really showing what is possible through kind of video and so on and so forth. So anybody listening that's like a nursepreneur and is thinking about how can I show people what is possible, I think that'd be a great way to do it. I've got too much on my plate at the moment, but but you know what I mean? Like, I follow a couple of people that talk about building ridiculously big businesses in the business world, and they talk about, imagine if Elon Musk and all of these people, Bill Gates, like, you know, all these rich white men had documented their process. Imagine if they had like recorded it and then shared it with the world for other people to replicate that. What a different space and time we'd be living in, and how that would impact people globally. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing being here today. And this will stand in history, and your grandkids will be able to listen to it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, look at you, crazy lady.
I love it. So as we wrap up, tell us more about Heart-Based Hospital and how that works for people that want to engage with that. I know there's a couple of ways that they can engage with you. And also there's a donation function, I think, as well. So tell us all the things.
Yeah, I will tell you all the things. So my current morphing is I'm stepping more away from the one-on-one coaching work, and I'm more a conduit. So I'm really aware of who's doing what. So I get a lot of connection, and I conduit them out to expertise. But I'm putting a lot of my energy into awareness and philanthropy. So my awareness is around how important it is to care for our carers, our frontliners. to support their mental and physical health as they support ours as we, transition through these changing times. So yeah, I'm a charity, so opencollective.com/heart/hospital/place/hospital/charity hospital. We'll put it in the notes.
Put it in the notes.
Yeah, there's that. If you're in New Zealand, I'm doing a movie fundraiser. So it's the follow-on from Embrace, Tara and Brumpet's Embrace, which is on Netflix. And it's called Embrace Kids. So it's the only way we can see it in New Zealand is through fundraising. So that's happening on the 11th of the 11th, 22, 7 p.m. in Takapuna, Auckland. I've created a medicinal chocolate. So it's the Mary Magdalene Wild Heart Cacao Bar. And that's a fundraiser as well. And I'm really big around medicinal plant medicine. So if you're new to cacao, it's high in iron, high in magnesium, and it has a natural uplifter in it. So I'm really big on plant medicine, and Heart Place Hospital will have an apothecarium. And Heart Place Hospital is, it's the bones are there, and I do have people come and stay already. They're sort of more 1 degree away from me. But once it's all in council, once it comes out of council, the builder, everything's all ready to rumble. And then I can open up to beyond the 1 degree of people, which is really exciting. And then I've got a book coming out, Liam.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I've co-authored a book with 20 American nurses, and it's called Letters to a Future Nurse. Awesome. So my story that we've just talked about now, I've condensed it into 1 chapter, and that's coming out the end of this month, beginning of next month. And then along the way, I do sacred sexuality and period power, and I've got some festivals I'm going to and stuff. So I'm just exploring. I'm open to anything. If it makes my heart sing, it's a yes. And then when I'm not doing all that, I'm learning to surf, and I'm roller skating, and doing all the things. Yeah.
I love that so much. You are truly an example of what's possible. Thank you so much for all of the amazing work. Thank you for being brave enough to dare to care differently. I love that so much. And I'm excited to see what happens with Heart Place Hospital and how it evolves. There might be one coming to you soon. For sure. And if you don't already, you must go over to Instagram and follow Heart Place Hospital. I'll share it. The links will be in the show notes. But oh my goodness, beautiful hospital, beautiful location, stunning views. Very gel, and definitely one day we'll be coming for a visit when I finally make it. Can you believe I've been in Australia for 8 years? I still haven't been to New Zealand. It's despicable.
Well, I'll clear a space.
Thank you.
You and your partner, yeah. You can
I'll need all the healing, so get ready.
Come here. A red sauna, pool, spa. You name it. We've got it.
Love it.
Static dance, roller skating. Anything you want.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure. All of the links to everything we've talked about and all of Jacqui's amazingness will be in the show notes. Please make sure you go and follow it. And until next time, stay safe and stay forever curious, beautiful people. Bye. Thank you so much for watching the High Performance Nursing podcast. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell for all future video notifications. If you want to dive deeper into this work, please come and join us in the High Performance Nursing membership. All the links are in the comments below. We would love to see you there and help you thrive within your nursing life, career, and mindset. Let's do this.